Hey everyone, Paul at Magnitude again. We are now in the activity Response Evaluate, Security Compromise Response Evaluate to be specific. And the idea here being that once we have closed out on a security compromise response, the information officer is able to go through a process of assessing the quality of that response, record adjustments to your operations or to your organizations that may be relevant so that your risk of this particular type of incident occurring in future is reduced. As usual, what we want to do with a short tutorial is boost your confidence in the use of this activity and the purpose of it, give you familiarity with the workflow trigger that gets this process going, and to provide you guidance on when and why you should resolve such a record. Good. Your usual reminder that we have plenty other tutorials available for you on the functions and features of the system, and they are found here. When we refer to them, this is where you need to come and look. Okay, we are in the system. I'm utilizing, as usual, the desktop or the web interface. Mobile, you'll be just as comfortable. The activity, the tile that we are focusing on for this tutorial is, of course, the evaluate one, the response evaluate. And the trigger for this process is a resolve action by the information officer yourself at the response activity. So to be clear, at some point you will have completed your response to a security compromise event, whether that takes hours, days, weeks, or months. You will have completed that and you will press on resolve in the relevant record at response. And by pressing on resolve, the workflow is triggered inside the system, and so an unresolved item will therefore be added into the evaluate. So there's a workflow push, because as you close out here, we need to go into evaluate mode. Make sense? I hope. Very, very, very obvious. As you'll become used to now, there's a number of ways to get to the specific data you're looking for here. Via notification center, tapping onto the icon and moving through what we call the pulse page, or simply clicking straight onto unresolved, which I'm doing now. So these are the unresolved. This is a test environment. Wouldn't expect to have quite as many in real life. But here we are seeing the records which are now waiting evaluation. We come straight to the summary view, something you'll be somewhat familiar with now. If I click on it, I get the detailed or the full view. But whether I'm in detailed or summary view, my response is managed here at the response icon. So I click on the icon, and the opportunity for me to respond is delivered. So here's a structured form, quite a lengthy one because it's a bit of a post-mortem of what you have learned and what you will do into the future to avoid such a problem. So you can see it's in effect a root cause analysis, lessons learned, adjustments to be made. I won't complete the form in front of you. It's very straightforward. And when you press submit, what that does is bring us back to the main record item, which I'll show you now. Right, so I completed the update and it has come back into the system. So we have the original record that is pulled all the way through actually from the alert, security compromise alert data, and been supplemented along the way. And here's my update to it. Again, we're in summary view. We can open up and see the complete record quite simply, as you'll be familiar with now. I'll move back one step, back to the summary view. And of course, we can repeat this. So it is possible. I can foresee that you would do a number of evaluations on one record, and you would simply repeat the process by going back into the evaluation form where the mouse is at the moment. So I can see that being logical inside the process. No problem with that. As always, we can collaborate with others at the action bar. So you'll be familiar with this now. Pick type the act sign, and then collaborate. More information about this feature available to you at our resources section. Just look for the correct tutorial there, mini tutorial. And eventually, very much anticipate that at some point you will have completely closed your evaluation. And when that time comes to close out, or as we call it in the system, to resolve, you would come to the gray ticks, and I'll do it now. I click on them and they move to green. And this indicates that the record, the evaluation, is closed out and finished. It moves into archive. Nothing is deleted, available to you, but it moves from the unresolved and into the archive. And that would make a lot of sense in this process because, of course, you do complete that evaluation at some point. Okay, so straightforward, simple, as is the entire system. We've covered here the purpose of the response evaluate activity, a bit of a post-mortem, as I've mentioned to you, learnings taken, adjustments made. You have an understanding how the workflow comes through from the response activity into the evaluate activity. And we've discussed how to resolve a record, why you would resolve a record, in other words, to close it out and move it to archive. And quite as usual, we have talked about your action chat bar. It's such a cool place to collaborate internally around the process. The next tutorial in sequence is my library. A little bit of a different activity from the point of view of everything we've seen so far. This is a place to keep documents and policies and so on. We'll see you at that video.